Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser, brought to you by our friends at Reckless Coffee Roasters. It is Monday. Reckless Coffee is there. And of course, Grumpy is here. Our very first morning show of 2024. And what a year it has been so far. Not too shabby. Not too
It
shabby.
it's been
What's
pretty
going on,
pretty
Matush?
great. Not much. Like you mentioned, it's been a pretty great start to 2024. We talked about this before, but being atop on Christmas can kind of be a curse, and so we felt like if we just drop a point before Christmas, New Year's going to be all us, and we're flying, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, started with the New Year's Day game, obviously, right? And then you win that, which I had the pleasure of watching with the Vegas group. We were there for the week, met famous Kazi in person. So we watched that game together. And then yesterday's game, I mean, we were in the pre-match together. I don't know. What do you make of it? And I mean, it's a huge win, right? There is nothing to discuss there. But the way we won, what is that? What is the feeling that it gives you? Because it wasn't like second half was a lot better, obviously, but it's not like it was a dominant performance or anything. But does it almost give you more hope that we won that game? A tough fixture with a lot of kids out there and really not playing so well.
Yeah, if anything, it just comes down to a really gritty performance, right? One of those matches where it's there's a lot of frustration watching it because you feel like there could be so much more, but at the same time, just like Kazi was saying yesterday, it was a weird match because I think a lot of us felt in a way whatever was going to happen was going to happen. If they happened to lose the game, it would sting a little bit, but it wouldn't be the end of the world because there are three other competitions that we are still very much in the thick of it. And so I think it was up until he brought on the kids and Bradley came on, and I think in the Discord, I think we were talking about how Klopp has sort of just given up, right? And I think at that moment it was I don't want to replay. Either we're going to win this game or lose this game, so let's throw on the kids, see what they've got. And honestly, like Bradley specifically had a fantastic game. A fantastic cameo, I should say, right? He was only there for 15, 20 minutes, but obviously Martinelli was just torching Trent on that side. But Martinelli came in off the bench. He had fresh legs. Trent was getting a little gassed, so I think it really helped that Bradley was also fresh. But yeah, overall, one of those performances where you need some of those matches throughout a year, where you get a little bit lucky. The team that you're playing against doesn't finish well. We've had matches where we haven't finished well, and the other teams walked away from it going, man, if they could have finished a little bit more, like we would have been really fucked. So I think you have to have these every once in a while and just appreciate it for what it is. And I'm glad. I mean, who knows how the draw is going to go today, but we could be set up really well.
Yeah, and I think that would be nice to be set well in the next round to kind of like award for yesterday's like the toughest draw that was in the entire one. I don't think there was. I think I saw one more other two Premier League team matches, but obviously this was like the top one. And yeah, I mean it's a huge win. Yeah, the substitutions were weird actually because there was some disbelief in this score. I personally felt it was more about, hey, we're gonna do what we do. If if it rolls our way, it rolls our way. Sparky says he'll take Wigan in the next round. Yeah, that should be interesting. I mean, even those games in some ways are more dangerous, right? Because you go out there with a lot of kids. There's a lot of disconnect on the pitch and stuff like that. Whereas, I mean, for the most part, despite missing what I would call the spine, right? I mean, you're missing Van Dijk, you're missing Ando, and who thought we would say that a long time ago? And then obviously Mo and Soboslai. So you're missing a huge part of your starting 11. We talked about liking the lineup. Does it look even better now? The amount of rotation and stuff. How happy are you with that?
I think if anything, it allows us maybe a bit more comfort in the rotation, as maybe not necessarily liking it, but it gets the job done for what it is now. And you could also argue that Robbo is missing out of the starting 11 too, right? He hasn't been around for so long, but That's five guys that typically would get into the starting 11, and you beat an Arsenal squad that's only really missing Gabriel Jesus, right? I mean, maybe Tomayasu, if you want to argue, maybe Zinchenko a little bit. He hasn't been playing that well. So to go into the Emirates with what you have, I think to Serzi's point, it's a very demoralizing loss for Arsenal. I think if we can go into the Emirates again early February for the Premier League game and beat them again, that's just going to be completely downhill from there.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the biggest hit. So I think that's probably the game I'm most worried about in the near future, because I think they're gonna come back with some sort of, really lame and cliche word, but vengeance for what happened. But yeah, I think back to what you were saying with having the flexibility of maybe throwing Diaz on that right side, that might be exactly what we need for this 3, 4, 5 week period that we didn't consider. Because I know we talked about maybe Elliott being up there, maybe Sobo being up there, maybe playing Darwin on the right side, maybe playing Gakpo on the right side. I know you threw out Diaz at one point on the right side. I think it was a couple weeks ago. But yeah, pat yourself on the back for that. So I think if anything, it's not that I liked the lineup. It's that I'm comfortable with what we made of the lineup.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I guess. Yeah, I agree to that. And I think, I don't know, like you win a game like this, I really thought this would be a game that Arsenal would be into a lot more than us, because this was an opportunity for them. Obviously, they're already out of the League Cup right now. This is another competition they'll be out of. I
Yep.
mean, I figured they would want to go further in this more than we do. They're home and they're reeling, so they need something to kind of build on and like kickstart the season again and stuff like that. And I really thought they would be more up for it, and they were, to be honest with you. But it's just like, I mean, I think I was saying this in the post match. I mean, you could put Kai Havertz, if he was wearing a purple jersey, he would probably get a higher rating from SofaScore than as an Arsenal player. I don't know what he ended up with, actually. Let's take a look over here. But 7.2. Which game were they watching? I mean, I guess maybe you get points for being in scoring situations,
Yeah,
just being in the vicinity.
his XG was very high, so obviously he put himself in good situations.
Yeah, I mean, so you look at this. Here's what I wanted to ask you. For the back four, what did you think of that? Because as always, and I know he had that big giveaway that could have been costly. Sadly, you're due for one of those, especially when he's playing on the left. I feel like it's a bit harder for him to kind of like make that cut during the build-up. Gomez, Kwanzaa, Konate, Trent. What did you make of that back four? Because it could be, I mean, obviously Van Dijk is going to be back, but I think the rest of it is going to be our back four for a while.
Yeah, I think we had that big question of, can Kanate do it without Van Dijk, right? Because there were moments when Kanate and Matip played together or whatnot that they didn't feel comfortable, they didn't feel right. Obviously Arsenal did a good job of attacking, of getting into the final third yesterday. They didn't do a good job of finishing, but at no point did I feel particularly nervous, which was very weird given the fact that it was Konate and Kwanzaa back there. I don't remember ever thinking, oh, wow, Kwanzaa's really good for his age. I just kept thinking that's just a proper center back there, right? I think so. That was a really good feeling to have, because there have been question marks of what is going to be the post-Van Dijk era type of thing. And if Konate can stay healthy and if Kwanzaa can take that left side, and they are comfortable doing that together, then that's your center back pair for the next 5, 6, 7 years, or for the next after Van Dijk, so to speak. But yeah, Gomez, I think he's played really well on that left side, and he's going to have those moments where he is Gomez, and we're asking him to do a lot that he's never done before. I think playing as a wing back on one side is very different than playing as a wing back on the other side, and if you haven't had much experience doing that, it's not going to be easy. But I think if, again, this offers more feeling more comfortable of rotation, knowing that when Costas gets back and Rabo gets back, if Gomez can play that left side, that's good to know. I do think seeing Kwanzaa go down and Konate go down in the first half yesterday was really worrisome. So I do think, it is January. We surprisingly haven't talked about transfers yet in 10 minutes. That's crazy. New record. But that is something that I think we should keep an eye on, especially especially if this quad is alive, man. Like,
Don't start that.
why not? Why not just go get a center back?
I'm gonna take that quad as you were talking about Kwanzaa. Let's go to about Kwanzaa going down, and
Yeah,
Klopp's reaction showed us. Yeah, I thought the only funny thing that's the same thing. And I when the game started, and I think Angel was asking about like Van Dyke, and I'm like, oh, I guess he's ill. And I mentioned this could be interesting because really it kind of determines if we're on the fence about somebody, or if we're kind of questioning the cost of somebody. Maybe we're like, that's a 10 million too much or something like that. I think something like that, or that moment alone could have been enough to say, hey, we need to do that. We need to get that guy, kind of thing. Ryan says, hey dudes, the one game this year I was okay losing, we pull off that shit. Happy that. Yeah, you know what, I was on the same boat, man. I really was on the same boat. I was like, you're never going to be okay, but I wouldn't be as devastated as I was saying in the pre-match, and pulling that off was good. So Sparky Parky says the first 20 minutes we had no defense, and then DC says Arsenal were great for the first 20 minutes, but we grew into. I think the biggest part was um I felt the defense was fine the first 20 minutes. I just felt like they had zero help from midfield,
yeah.
especially in build up. They had zero help from midfield. Nobody was really dropping back, and when they did drop back, they did have a bunch of people, on them. Like they would have to pass the ball back, especially Mac. What do you make of that? I mean, obviously it's a makeshift midfield that you may not see again, but
Yeah, and part of it could be just that Arsenal they do press well, though. I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due. They were able to put the defense into uncomfortable positions. They didn't allow Konate and Kwanzaa and Gomez to sit on the ball right outside the box. They made them come back behind the box and actually play out from where they were uncomfortable. And the midfielders weren't making it, like you said, they were making it easier by being able to be in space to receive any of those balls. So I think in that regard, I think credit just goes to Arsenal for what their plan was, and I think they executed it well. And obviously, it just took some rearranging and some tactical work from Klopp to make sure that that is not what was going to happen the entire game. Because if that was the case the entire game, it would have been really rough. So I just think it's more down to Arsenal executing what they wanted to do in the beginning very well, more than, and then maybe part of just our midfielders not necessarily being as aware, maybe being a little bit lazy in trying to help and find space.
yeah, that's part of it. And you got to figure you have a brand new midfield over there trying to figure out what the hell they're doing, and you have an opposition who is really good at counter pressing and pressing and winning the ball and stuff like that. So we did go against. I mean, it did not. I mean, Sparky says let's not get carried away. We could have been down 3 after 20 minutes, and I do agree. But at the same time, it's not like we performed so poorly against a poor team. Like, if we were the first 20, 25 minutes, how it was going, if that was against I don't know, like a Luton Town or like Burnley or something like that, you would be like, this is not good. This midfield is not going to work. But I mean, you were playing, one of the favorites to win the title starting the season at least.
Yep.
And, still probably like the third favorite right now, based on like, how the table lines up and everything like that. But had no leader in midfield. Cersei says Nat Phillips. Do not say Nat
Stop
Phillips.
it.
Let's not.
Stop it. We need to insert that Michael Jordan meme or the GIF
Yep.
where he goes, "Stop it. You need to find some help."
And can we stop this overreaction of anytime we call somebody back from a loan, that we're calling him back to be the starting 11 or something like that? Because I mean, most of these guys, if not all of these guys, are being called back because they're not getting enough playing time where they're at. So obviously they're not going to get playing time at Liverpool right now. So, but yeah, anytime I see a name being called back, like Rhys Williams was called back, and they were like, "There you go." It's like, no, there you not go. And I think the same with Nat Phillips. Let's not call him back or something.
Have fun at Hull City, Fabio. Like that's pretty much that's where we're at with that guy too.
Yeah, I think, is that where he's going? Is that announced?
Yeah.
Really? That's interesting, because I know Hull City is getting Ryan Kent as well.
Oh, really?
Kent is making yeah, he didn't cut it at Fenerbahce. He's just not getting any playing time. So the rumor was Hull City's owner is Turkish and a huge Fenerbahce guy. So it's been great to dump some of our people over there. It's the Saudi league for Chelsea is Hull City. That's what we can afford as far much is Hull City, not the entire country over there. But so this says I don't think we were lucky. Konate was a beast. Uh, yeah, what do you say? Do you say we were lucky? Do you say Arsenal was just poor, or do you just take credit and say that's what good teams do? They win. Blah
They
blah.
just win, baby. Um, I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. I think it can be a little bit of
I knew you
both.
were gonna do that. I knew.
But I mean, obviously, that's how you got to look at
Dancing
it.
around.
Look, we make our own luck. That's what it
Ah, I
is.
like it. I
There
like
you go. Yeah, it's like I said before. There have been some matches where we felt that we should have finished a lot better, and we put ourselves in more difficult situations than more difficult situation than we needed to be. And Arsenal probably is walking away from that game thinking that they should have put it to bed in the first 20, 30 minutes, and they didn't. And
Yeah.
you still have to score to win anyway. I mean, unless you go to pens, right? If you not in this case, but in the general sense, but you still have to score, and you could have 30 shots on goal if they didn't go in. Not necessarily, it's not luck always, right? You just still have to finish. It is what it is. And I get Sparky Barky saying let's not get carried away, and I agree. I'm not getting carried away. I don't think any of us are getting carried away. I think the quadruple is just it's fun to say. I don't really believe in it.
It's a fun word.
Yeah, quadruple. Just say it a few times. Say it 4 times exactly. And but I think it's a performance that we could just be really proud of, having 4 or 5 of our normal starting 11 out, throwing on a couple kids at 0-0, and still being able to come up with what the result was. I think it's a fun result to celebrate, and I don't think we have to necessarily degrade it by saying it was lucky. We performed where we needed to and finished where we needed to, and Kivior did a great job at finishing for us as well, and that's it.
I mean, I was giving you shit, but that is true. It is kind of not mutually exclusive. Where I'm thinking, go back to the United game, right at home, where we had 34 shots or whatever the heck it was, and we couldn't score. I mean, we did say they were lucky to get out of there with a point for United, but really we mostly harped on the team not being able to finish. We didn't really walk away saying, "Oh, they were just lucky." We just said we have to finish our chances. I mean, I find it like very similar in terms of how it's played out, except unlike United, we found a way to actually come back and win that game afterwards.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good way to put it.
I think Arsenal is just, yeah, I mean, they are spiraling. And I think that's why I was really thinking they would mark this game as let's make this a turning point and stuff. And I'm sure they did before the game, but it did not turn out with that. Alisson really did not to make many stands, just like our game where United we dominated, but we're unlucky. Yes, great minds think alike. Sparky says, not quite without Champions League. Man,
still 4 trophies. Whatever. Yeah, do you even like does Sparky does he even like this club? Like, fuck, man. Every single thing I've ever heard him write about this club is always negative.
Just wait if I say Curtis Jones or Henderson, and then watch Sparky just go to town, smash that keyboard. Well, actually, I just said the words, so we'll get Saidu show up in like no time over here. It's like the Batman signal talking about that. Speaking of, by the way, New Year's Day, we were talking about this. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, what happened in the Polish world? By the way, kudos to you for calling out the Polish guy in Arsenal yesterday who came through big time with the own goal afterwards. So
I told you guys, he's not great, and it sucks because I wish he was a little better, but it is what it is. And
does he start for the national team?
Yes.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah. There aren't many options though, so it's it's slim pickings. Really is where it's at. New Year's. Let's see. Went downtown to Navy Pier.
That's a haul, like
a couple hours. Yeah, actually, this is not an exaggeration. It did take 40 minutes afterwards to go from the parking garage to the freeway. That's about 2 miles, maybe. 40 minutes It was awful because we thought about going into the city. We bought a parking garage pass. We're like, oh, perfect, easy. We don't have to worry about parking. It's all taken care of. What we didn't think about was the after and how every single living being in Chicago that was there for New Year's actually doesn't live in Chicago, and they just came to see it. So they were all leaving as well, and so it was not fun. We actually there was a moment where we were walking, and there was this group walking on the other side of the crosswalk towards us, and this car just sped up in front of them and cut through to just make the left turn. And one of the guys on the other side hit the car out of frustration because the car nearly hit them. The car stops. These two guys get out, start running after this group. And Michelle's cousin was like, I thought that only happened in movies. And we're like, welcome to America, baby. It was great.
Oh, he's from Poland or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
she had family come in, two cousins come in to the States.
oh, that's
And
quite the experience seeing
yeah,
downtown
so
Chicago.
we wanted to give her the, if she was going to be here for New Year's in the States and near Chicago, then why not go down to Navy Pier for the fireworks? And that was her ultimate American experience.
Sparky says, I'm off to Chicago in March. Never been looking forward to it. We're here, man. You should be looking forward to it just for that reason alone. I'm apparently a couple of hours away. That's what Matush tells me. But yeah, we're mighty close in the suburbs. I know where you're going in Chicago. But yeah, I kind of figured downtown would be hell for that, the fireworks and stuff like that. But I mean, the weather was almost like it was like Halloween or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't bad. We were bundled up, and we walked for maybe a mile or so to get to a decent spot. The nice thing with the fireworks is that they had the fireworks come up in many places on the river as well, not just over Lake Michigan.
Oh,
So depending on where you were standing, you were pretty much seeing some sort of firework, which was pretty cool. But there were a ton of people on the streets, thousands of people. It was fun.
speaking of fireworks, some jackass in the subdivision was using fireworks, which I did not appreciate because we were flying out to Vegas at like 5 in the morning or something like that. So we were getting up at like 3 or something. I think it was like 5:50. So we're getting up at 3 or something like that. So we're like, but you got to stick it out, and like for New Year's and stuff like that. So we had our dinner chilling. Well, some jackass starting with the fireworks around like 11. And Leo was not feeling it. I don't know why, because he didn't freak out like this on 4th of July. I
Yeah,
think the fact that it's isolated, because it's only one jackass doing it, and he's not good at it. So he's doing it like every 50 seconds or something like that. So he was like, so everybody went to bed right after like the midnight kind of festivities. I had to stick around and I was Leo's calming dog, if you will.
oh, poor
So
Leo.
for like the next hour, because that jackass kept going till 1 in the morning for some reason. I'm assuming he has some leftovers from July, but yeah. Note to self: do not travel on New Year's Day. Traveling was a lot easier. I'll give you that. Overall, because I think
Was
everybody's so
quiet.
hungover. But aside from that, but Vegas was good time. So,
And
but
you, I mean, you haven't. I know you briefly mentioned it earlier, but you haven't gotten to the best part, and that's meeting Kazi in real life.
yes, meeting Kazi was interesting. That's for sure. Because I mean, obviously, we talked for like years now. I mean, like literally years, because he was around when we first started in the back in the day on the podcast and stuff like that. So we he barely made it. We barely made it ourselves. I guess we almost didn't like get to meet, but we went to where the Vegas group meets, and quite a large group actually. So we were there past that coasters, talked to a bunch of people and stuff like that. So a shout out to them as well. Ryan says, I hope to meet Kazi one day. It's not what it's cut out to be. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I wouldn't like put it on the bucket list or anything like that. No, it was really cool. It was 2 hours of him calling Nunez a fraud and me pointing out everybody every time Trent didn't defend and track back. So and then Angie laughing at us at the bar. So it was good times. But yeah, I mean that was a great way to start the new year. Even though I had 2 hours of sleep rocket at the time, but start with that win, and now this. And honestly, we've been worried about the fixtures for missing Mo and recently missing Endo as well. So now we have the League Cup. which I just found out there is no VAR, so that's a shit show waiting to happen. And I still don't understand. I guess Middlesbrough doesn't have this, and I haven't done research. I don't know what it takes to get VAR installed, like how many cameras, or I'm sure it's not a matter of just plug and play cameras. There has to be a lot of calculations, blah blah blah, laser levels involved. But it's kind
There's
of bullshit because they had like months to get it done, almost, didn't they?
maybe a month, but if they had bigger aspirations for that club, they could just get it implemented anyway because they know, like, if they say, hey, we're putting this in because we're going to be in the Prim next year, we're going to do it for that kind of,
Yeah,
give the guys something to play for. Damn it.
too bad they're middle of the table, though.
Yeah, it might take but if they beat Chelsea, that might be the springboard that they need, and it might be better for us. So please, Middlesbrough, do us a
Or
favor.
if they loaned people from us instead of Hull City, they would have a better shot at it. Ryan says he ate 5 edibles and passed out at 10. If I ate 5 edibles, I would probably wake up the next New Year's, like 2025.
I don't know if I would wake up.
Funny story about that. Our American Gerard, by the way, this is like a totally off the beat topic now. We're really going off the rails.
It's Monday, baby.
It is Monday, yeah, bring it out. So edibles, right? So I had never tried them before. So this is one of the few times where Bickler is the voice of sanity, by the way. So it's a memory to share just by. So yes, exactly. So American Gerard is like very into it. Obviously, he's in California and stuff like that. He makes his own in the past and stuff like that. So, and I was like, hey man, like how much should I be like taking? Because we've never done it before. It was more like just for fun, blah blah. And I think he said, dude, I want to say he said at least 50 like milligrams or something like that. It could have been more because he said it comes in 100. He said something about, I think it was like a bar of like 100 or something. He's like, I would just do half of it. And then, first of all, he was like, yeah, if you don't feel anything, you can have more. And I was like, I mean, now looking back, if I had it, I would not feel anything for like years to come. So I think in like talking in chats in Discord, I mentioned to Bickler, and thank God Bickler steps in the last one. He's like, dude, what are you nuts? You'll kill yourself.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
For someone that
for a
oh, I
newbie.
was about to say, if for your first time, that's a lot.
Okay, here's how pathetic we are. Even 10 was like okay, especially with like alcohol and stuff. Obviously,
Yeah.
Even like 10 was like ugh. So Sparky says they're varying strength. Our next sponsor for the night's podcast will be an edible company of some sort. We'll get that going. Coffee in the morning, edibles at night.
Sparky Parky Edibles, brought to you by the one and only Sparky Parky.
Oh yeah, 50 is a lot for a newbie, but yeah, thank God. Shout out to American Gerard, by the way, Jordan, who used to be with us back in the day as well. Speaking of, by the way, we do have like a bunch of new people joining us. A lot happening over here. We're starting Patreon for one in the next week or so over here. Finally, our swag shop with the new sponsor is going to be here as well, so that should be interesting. Got a lot brewing. You guys are working on the trip guide to Liverpool. So that should be coming out shortly as well. So there's a lot happening, and it doesn't get about that. This one we have King Arthur with us. What's going on, man?
King Arthur,
the King Arthur, like the Ohio State, but the King Arthur is with us as well. So yeah, we're getting big, as you can see. We're becoming.
No, that's just the holiday food, man. Be nice.
Hey, what was the holiday food?
Which holiday?
New Year's Eve, man. I'm trying to now, as I asked you that, I'm buying myself time.
Oh,
I don't know why I can't remember what the hell we ate.
Yeah, we went to. I'm not gonna tell you the name because I'm not gonna remember it, but it's a Mexican place in Chicago and had these phenomenal tacos.
I don't know the name, or you don't want to say the name.
I don't know the name. I'm gonna pass the question back to you while I use the Google machine to find out where I was for food.
Okay. You know what? We had something good, but I can't remember for the life of me what we had. I think we did like a wine and cheese plate and stuff, but we had something else, and now I can't remember. That was like the biggest part of it, the wine and cheese action, I think. But okay, let's get back to, and the name is Takara something.
Barrio.
What is it called?
Barrio.
Barrio is the name of the place.
Yeah,
It's like a one name, like Madonna, like Barrio.
Yes.
Okay.
Barrio.
Oh, okay.
I think
I
it
should have
means
known that you didn't
donkey.
just go to a Mexican restaurant, but you had to go to like a fine dining Mexican.
Well, it's not
restaurant.
like fine. It's nice. It's nicer, but it's not, yeah, but it's not like quick order at the counter and sit down and go pick up your food kind of deal. It was still nice sit down.
Bro, I see cornbread
Look,
muffin, ceviche tacos, and stuff like that.
these
That is a
these
fancy taco joint.
these tacos, you should go here one day, Timothy. I'm telling you, the skirt steak taco was so good.
Let's hope to God they're not $21 each.
It's you get 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, it's just one taco, but it's this big.
It's a burrito taco. Yeah, I mean I was gonna say, dude, there's a truffle mushroom taco. Anybody Hispanic reading this is kind of like,
Okay, well, we're in
growing
Chicago.
up in disgust that they made the truffle mushroom taco. Oh God. Okay. Yeah, we should go. I mean, the bad thing is Angie's going to watch this and she's gonna be like, we should try that next time or something like that, because
Why is that bad?
the truffle mushroom tacos, dude.
You
Is
don't
it
need
like
to
really
get truffle mushrooms. You can literally pick anything else off the
just
menu.
the fact that it exists on the menu would bother me enough. How about that? I'd be like, this place isn't authentic, damn it. I don't know. Maybe somebody can come and tell us. Maybe it is something authentic. I've never seen it at another Mexican restaurant.
Did I go into this saying I went to the most authentic Mexican restaurant you've ever been to in your entire life? No, I don't think so.
So how did you come? Never mind. Michelle picked the place.
We've been there before. I realized.
Oh, okay. But Michelle picked it.
Once we sat down, I was like, oh, have we been here before? And she's like,
Here we go.
Yeah.
See, Sparky is like,
I like Sparky again.
yeah. At least you guys found something you can bond with. Sit around when you visit Chicago. You guys can go to this supposedly Mexican restaurants and have some mushroom tacos. Oh my God, what is happening? I'll eat the shit out of a truffle taco. Truffle is to die for. Mushroom can die. So let's put it that way.
Oh, so you just hate mushrooms. That's it. You just don't like mushrooms. That's the crux. That is the foundation of your hate right here, is that you just don't like mushrooms.
No, you know what the foundation of my hate is? When I go to a restaurant that's supposed to be something and then they have stuff. Like I go to a Turkish restaurant and they have like salmon on the menu or like chicken fingers and stuff. I'm like, get that shit out of here, because that shit is not Turkish. You're just doing it for the clicks, if you will. You're doing it for like just to make it a bit more Americanized. So if like somebody who doesn't like international food shows up, they're like, oh, I know what that is. I'll have the chicken fingers.
Are you saying if I go to Istanbul, I can't get chicken fingers?
I'm sure you can get chicken fingers because they have like they sucker tourists for whatever the tourists want. They'll sell you chicken fingers for like $50 a finger if you really want. But
they'll what's a common spice used in Turkey?
Salt and pepper,
whatever it is, just throw it on top of the chicken and say it's Turkish.
My personal favorite spice from that neck of the woods is sumac. Ever had sumac on anything? As you Google what sumac is and trying to guess the spelling over there.
I spelled it. It's SUMAC. I spelled it right. I know.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I have a thing for language.
If you say so. Enough Mexican food here in Phoenix. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's right. I'm assuming, and I would guess, Sparky, that those authentic Mexican places do not have truffle mushroom on the menu in Phoenix.
Interesting. I feel like I've seen this somewhere, and I'll have to try and find it around here because I would like to try it.
Yeah, it has like a little. I mean, it depends on what you put it on, I guess. I mean, you don't like just like sprinkling on.
Yeah,
stuff,
it's bright red. Like it's like a nice dark crimson red.
It's almost like purplish, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it does. Yeah. See, Sparky says no mushroom. That's right. Damn it. Red pepper flakes. You know what? Sir Z knows Turkish food better than I do.
I
I
was gonna
guess
say,
so.
let's
Like when you
ask.
sit and think about it, it doesn't come to you.
Yeah.
But yes, the red pepper
Wow.
flakes.
Are you actually Turkish? Jesus.
You know what? Let's not go back to the passports. Are we going by the freaking cuisine over here? Are you trying to sell us freaking gelatin?
Oh yeah, you know what? Pulled Turk. There was sumac used in some of those meals for sure.
Was there? It should be.
Yeah, it
You
should
better
be.
go back to that menu and add some sumac or red pepper flakes. Apparently,
But that's
in one of
you
those.
never in the menu. You never put what spices you use though, right? It's just you just
Unless
assume.
it's like crusted or something like that. Yeah.
Ooh, sumac crusted.
I don't know if you can do sumac crusted, to be honest with you, but that's.
If you put enough glue on something, you could crust it.
I mean, I guess you could put enough glue on anything. Yeah, I mean, that's all you. I'm not gonna be a partner in that kind of a restaurant where you're gluing freaking spices onto the meats. But sure, why not? Maybe they'll have like edible.
The glue cooks off, obviously.
The glue just melts into the chicken. You won't even know it. Yeah, actually, when Sparky comes to Chicago, we have to get together and take him to, well, obviously not a Mexican restaurant, but we'll get Italian beef. I did not realize this because obviously when I came to the States, I came in usually into the Rockford area, which is literally 1 or 2 hours away from Chicago. So that would be like a legitimate one. But so I was always in this area initially. I did not realize that Italian beef was just a Chicago thing till I kind of like started traveling and people would be like, what? What the hell is that? Like Portillo's and stuff like that, for example.
Yeah.
I did not know that was like our thing over here. I know it's always like deep dish pizza, which I'm not a big fan of. I prefer New York, personally. No? No?
I mean, I am a fan of all pizza. I don't discriminate any.
There we go.
Pizza for all.
Dancing around the pizza.
Oh, I will dance around all the pizzas. Yeah. Any style.
Yeah, that, I mean, you want to get some controversy going. Like, let's get in the comments over here what kind of pizza you like, and then we'll do the infamous pineapple on pizza thing, which I'm sure, knowing you and having never asked you, you're a big fan of it.
I'll eat it, yeah.
I'll eat it.
I mean, I'd say
dancing around the pineapple.
I'd say big fan. It's not my first choice of pizza. I would go for a
DC calling you out and says fence sitting on pizza a disgrace.
There's no fence sitting. I'm literally sitting on the table devouring it all. I'm not sitting on a fence.
Okay, you sit at the table. Which slice are you grabbing first?
Yeah, the first preference I go for is just give me a supreme or garbage, whatever you want to call it. Just a pizza with all the toppings. So you're talking
including
pepperoni, sausage, mushroom, green pepper, anchovy,
truffle,
black olive, whatever. Yeah, that's the one I'm going for first.
But that's not what I asked, though, is it? I didn't say what flavor are you going for. I said what kind of pizza you're going for. You sat at the table. Sparky finally must have tried it after he ordered from you. But no, you sit at the table. There's different kinds of pizza. Which slice are you grabbing first?
Okay, it probably would be New York. Thin crust, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Start with a thin crust as an appetizer. And then you go for the deep dish as the main. And then you go.
The problem with deep dish, I feel like
it's a lot at once, right? That's the thing.
I didn't know that fried pork tenderloin and old-fashioned cream pies were an Indiana thing until I lived in Colorado. What the hell is a fried pork tenderloin? Actually, I don't know if I've ever had that.
Should I use the machine?
Use the machine. An old-fashioned cream pie. Like Cheesecake Factory pie? Cheesecake? What the heck is that old-fashioned? Man, we should not do this in the morning before breakfast because these shows, once we get into food, I think we're not the only ones either. It just goes all over the place. DC says old-fashioned cream pies. Let's move on from that. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but yeah, that
Oh,
does not
okay.
sound right.
So this is, I mean, in German, it's a
Schnitzel?
schnitzel. Yeah, in yeah, in Polish,
Schnitzel is
it's
veal, though, isn't it?
it can be, but it's a breaded meat that's fried in my head, right? Like it's pretty synonymous with a lot of different things. I don't know. I feel like this is very popular in Polish cooking as well. It's just it's not typically pork.
Well, at least it doesn't have gelatin and carrots and shit on it, so I can roll with this.
Not
Uh,
every Polish person loves that as well.
I mean, yeah, this is basically breaded, beat down meat that's breaded. Okay, I was gonna say do not search cream pie because you are sharing the screen. and, and we're trying to host a family show here. Let's not freaking get canceled with some reckless googling first thing in the morning. Oh God, cooked cream. Ryan says yes. Let's watch while we're writing first thing in the morning over here.
I wasn't even thinking about that, you guys. That's ridiculous.
Hey,
Oh,
let's
well,
hope safe search was on or something like that. Oh man, what a morning.
oh no. Oh
Okay,
no.
Ryan, you can stop now.
The worst part is this search could have also presented something that wasn't necessarily what we would have wanted to see as well.
Why is it old fashioned? Like, is the other one new fashioned? I'm
I'm
trying
not
to.
going to Google that. The new fashioned cream pie is
I
not
don't
what
think
we
I've
want to
had it
see.
actually. Yes, he did play for 20 minutes, and he deserves a cream pie himself.
Oh no.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's go back.
We have to talk about
Why do
footy
Mondays
again
always go off the rails?
because that's what Monday is. Everyone that's been a long stay here on Monday knows that this is it. You guys, you shouldn't expect a lot of intelligent football talk. This is just a whatever the hell is going to go on kind of day.
Definitely a lot of food talk,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
food talk. Yes, but I mean, it is coming up as old fashioned too in that Google search. I noticed a lot of the titles, it did say old fashioned. So yeah, I did not know anything about that. So we're gonna have to, yeah, this the Monday morning shit show is what we should change it with. I don't know. Reckless Coffee is going to be very proud of supporting the shit show name, but we'll go with that. But actually, yeah, let's go back to that. DC saving the day over here. I was pretty impressed with I mean, the way Bradley played, and maybe I mean we should perhaps do more of this. I know when we do, we've been talking about the subs a lot more, right? This year we like the
Mhm.
squad is deeper and stuff like that. But I feel like one thing it has done is it has taken away time from some of these guys as well, because you're getting Gomez usually off the bench. I mean, if Robertson was healthy, it was probably going to be Gomez, for example, coming off the bench yesterday, not Connor Bradley and stuff like that.
Right.
Which kind of like ties it up to Wednesday's game, I guess. What do you expect to see in Wednesday's game? Like, do we go very similar to what we did, knowing there's not a Premier League game coming up afterwards?
Yeah. I think we see the same exact 11 minus Van Dyke coming in for probably. I was going to say Kwanzaa, but knowing Kanate, I don't know if he could do 2 games in a week, and I don't know if we're there yet. So I might see Kwanzaa and Van Dyke. That's the most frustrating thing. Yeah, it's very difficult to have to sit here and go, well, I don't know if this guy can play 180 minutes in a week. Like we should expect that out of Premier League footballers, but if his body, he's built like a Rolls Royce, but he breaks down like an old Rolls Royce. I couldn't think of a good analogy. I'm sorry, guys. It's
You
Monday.
couldn't think of a shit car name? See, he's so
I'm not
posh.
good with cars.
Well, posh. Having
I'm not
truffle
good.
mushrooms in his Mercedes Benz.
What kind of car breaks down a lot? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't want to like alienate any.
Yeah, because what if we want to get sponsored one day and they look back and go, "Oh, you guys shat on insert model brand here," and we get screwed.
You know what? We should just pick somebody. If it's Toyota, Toyota be damned. Like I guess we'll cancel that, and then we'll go Dodge Neon. Yes, that's a good one. Ford Escort.
Fine.
Let's go with that. Okay, Dodge. Cersei says asshole.
That's personal. That's a personal thing.
Yeah, there is like a vicious and angry story, I think, to go with that. Like broken down in the middle of a highway or something like that, probably. So yeah, and that's the problem though, right? Like you were talking about it earlier when you said, seeing Konate like that gives you hope that maybe Konate and
Sorry.
oh man, you're the one who kind of took us out back into the Liverpool talk. Don't drag us back in with Esco. Oh man, what's a craziness. When I maybe post this on afterwards, we have to go back on YouTube and add the thumbnail and stuff like that. I might have to put hashtag cream pie
Throw a huge
and
cream pie on that
attract a
screen.
total different kind of audience, aside from like the Liverpool audience to this podcast. Hey, maybe that will get us some more views and stuff. By the way, if you have not subscribed and you want to see more cream pie videos, you should join our YouTube channel and follow it. And not only you should follow it, you should ask your other cream pie loving friends to join as well and give us a follow. Hoping for a huge year this year, really.
Just the old-fashioned kind, though.
Okay, broke down running from the police at Cersei. So that story or the plot only thickened on that one. When's Grand Theft
So
Auto?
you're saying the Dodge Neon didn't help you dodge shit?
Oh, hold on. I gotta get this.
Yes.
Craziness. I mean, that's the thing. I keep trying to run away from the screen pie. But like Konate, how about we talked about Konate and Kwanzaa and stuff like that. I just have a bad feeling that it's not something that. Do you ever remember talking about a player who had a lot of injuries in his younger days? As a phrase, man, he used to be always injured when he was young.
Yeah.
Like, it never happens anymore. Like I just can't think of a lot of players who had so many like injury issues initially and then didn't have any at all.
Right. Yes. I mean, some are just genetically predisposed to have more issues over their career. So it's it's difficult. I can't think of one.
Cyrus says, "Good day, Misled." I hope he's feeling better. I hope it's not for something too serious. Sorry to hear that, Sido. But thanks for joining. Okay, Sir Z says my 11-year-old has officially subscribed. He thinks you're talking about donuts. Yes, let's roll with that. No, it's old-fashioned cream pies. I don't even know what Sir Z is talking about. I've been talking about old-fashioned cream pies all along.
Yes.
Gerard, did he see? I cannot recall that. But is that when he was like a teenager? Maybe. See, I can kind of see. I'm hoping like Basetic, for example, is that kind of a situation where you're almost like, you're a boy playing against a man, and your body is really not completed yet, and you can't go against it, and you get injured a lot more. I'm really hoping that's the situation, for example, with Basetic, and he comes back as he gets stronger. I mean, you look at Trent when he first came on the scene. He did not get the injuries, but you look at, the body of the kid that came into the league compared to, him now, it is like night and day. So I don't know if, Konate looks like a beast right now. So it's not a matter of not being able to comment. Side is hoping for, I don't know. We were talking about this earlier. I don't even know if he's going to have, Curtis Jones had like a rough night. And I don't know. And that's another thing. Like, do we feel confident that Curtis will go 20 games without getting injured? I don't.
Curtis has had weird ones though, like the eye thing.
Poke in the eye, yeah.
Yeah, it's not stuff that it's not so
like muscle issues.
Ligament, yes, not so ligament. Like the ones that are more ligament based tend to be the ones that offer more problems throughout their career. But those weird random one-offs, like the poked eye, I don't necessarily chalk that down to being injury prone. It's just being unlucky. But not that he hasn't had more than just the poked eye, but that was one that was just the longest and the weirdest.
That was, I don't even know why it took so long. Like it took a long time. We were like, man, to the point where we got suspicious that there was something else, and it wasn't just.
Well, it's because Sparky Parky, every time Curtis was going to be back, he went and poked him again.
And then Saido is probably like trying to find him as well. See, Jones, he is our best midfielder. I know he didn't have a good game yesterday.
Yeah, why would
Um,
you want him to leave? Doesn't make
but this
sense.
says, what's with Thiago and his damn hips? I don't know. He listens to Shakira all the
Age.
time. Age, you said?
Age. I'm also 31. I resonate with Tiago in the hips.
Well, I'm way over 31. I got more issues than hips alone. Hips are the least of my problems.
Timochin's
Knees
hips
are
definitely don't lie.
hips, yes. I know the knees don't lie when it comes to me more than the hips. He likes to shake himself, Ryan. I mean, yeah, but he is supposedly training. I mean, really, when you look at it, we've started the year great, and you see all these people that are possibly coming back. I'm trying not to get too excited about it, but I feel like down the road, it would be because I worry that you're like, oh, these guys are coming in, but then like other guys are going out because they're getting injured or something like that. I feel like otherwise there's a lot happening here. If you get Thiago in midfield, especially after Endo comes back as well. I mean, we were talking early in the season about the ridiculous depth we had in midfield, which is no longer the issue. Ryan says, do we even really want Thiago back? I mean, I do for like 20 minutes a game, either to close it or try to help open up a, low block. Where are you at with Thiago?
Yeah, I think he still has the quality to be able to put in a good shift. I just don't expect him to be the answer to any sort of rotational problem. It's just going to be, like you said, a guy that comes in and closes games and offers something, but not necessarily a full-time deal. He's not going to be the six. I think we've seen enough from Endo and from Mac that Klopp will have either one of them at the six until there is someone else that comes in. I think having Thiago will be huge, even if it is just for 20 to 30 minutes to close out games or to be able to break down buses and whatnot. So I would love to have Thiago back because he still is able to he possesses some qualities that not the rest of our midfield is able to possess.
Yeah, I mean, the dude, the experience, the controlling the game, and I think that's like the biggest thing. I would feel a lot more comfortable with a guy like Thiago on the pitch if we're up by one, just because he knows how to kill off a game. Even yesterday, I know we scored a second goal, and I know we were going on 4-2, but it's like, man, Murphy's Law, that's going to be like a misplaced pass, and they're going to get it, and then, it's going to be a last second counter or something. Like, these are the disaster scenarios that I think of. That was one thing, is trying to get Kazi into my brain of disasters and what can go wrong as we were watching the game. Like, I was like, this is how my brain works, kind of a thing. But oh yeah, by the way, that's I was going to bring this up, and then somebody said cream pie and we went downhill. Hando has had enough. Everybody has had enough of Saudi, but somehow not enough of the money. But out of all these names that are being mentioned, right? All these guys that are like, there's too much height, all this money, air conditions. Which player, if any, would you be okay with coming back?
Out of all the ones that left.
Out of all the ones that left of Saudi Arabia, which player would you take? We are unstoppable, as Amphiel Raw TV says. What's up, man? Yeah, I mean, that's the Bobby. I kind of assumed would be the common one. I'm shocked that.
Wow.
I'm shocked Sparky said Bobby. I thought Sparky would be like Hendo.
I was really stuck between Bobby and Fabinho, and I think I would go Fabinho.
Man, Fabinho was done before he left. So I don't know if he did any better.
I know. But I also feel like I don't know. There's enough up front where Bobby would just be too much.
I think I would still take Bobby back.
Obviously, I'd be happy to see. I'd be happier to see Bobby back, but in terms of overall seeing what the team needs, I think Fabinho would make the most sense. Or Kabak.
He's in Germany, man.
But he left.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Did he ever come? Ben Davies. Yeah. Bring him back. Yeah, put him back there. Promote the young. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I don't think, and I don't think we would. I know everybody's like talking about it like, ooh, like I don't think that's not how Klopp works. Once you're gone and kind of, I don't want to say sold out. I mean, like, Firmino's situation or like Milner and stuff. Those guys I don't consider sold out. But I feel like, you moved on from the program, right? Like you kind of like buy into the club's program. This is what we're doing. This is the direction we're going. And once you leave, you kind of like move down from that program, and you can come back and be like, hey, can I jump back on? Because it doesn't work like that, since he's so big on the team concept, the mentality concept and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As a personality wise, I would, because Cersei says Bobby and Milner were forced out. Yeah, we just were not going to pay what they want. I don't know if Klopp would have paid what they wanted, but FSG, I don't think would pay what they wanted. And I know people talk a lot of shit about FSG and stuff like that, but you look at United, you do need somebody else to come in occasionally and say, yeah, no, that's not a financially wise decision.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to give 80 million to that guy, to that winger that you really want, because he's worth 35 and stuff. Sometimes that stuff has to happen. Bobby is the right answer. Open the top pass parade of the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, just to see him on the bus, like that's the big thing with Bobby. I'd be happy with that.
James Milner says Hassan.
Maybe
from the Saudi wants Fabinho, but I'll be going with Fabinho mainly due to because we need this defensive midfield.
I think it's just reactionary based on missing Endo right now. Not everyone being sold on Mac being back there and having someone who was the brick wall in that position before. But to think that he would be any bit of what he used to be, it wouldn't be possible.
Like I can't see him gaining more form in Saudi Arabia, where it's going to be, it's so much slower and so much less physical and stuff like that. So I would just take Bobby because I feel like it's a great option off the bench, and personality wise, it's a guy that's going to go with the flow, kind of like what he did in the last season, and play within the team and do the hard work, and a guy that we can use definitely right now. And the moment there's always going to be injuries. I mean, I know we look like we're 5 deep in the front three right now, and throughout the season. But now Mo is gone 4. For a while, Jota was gone. We were down to 4. So having those options, how many times have we said Gakpo probably will not start there because he's the only option at that point. He was the only option we could bring off the bench to change formation and stuff like that from the front line because we were down to 3. Yes, see too much about Anthony at 39, which comes to a very important point. How do United Scouts value Anthony at 35? That's about 34 million. Yeah, I mean that's my point. I was referring to Anthony, but I mean you can even like talk about like Sancho and stuff like that, because Sancho already had issues at Dortmund as well, and giving those wages and stuff like that was only going to add to the issue. You do sometimes need, because I don't know, even as in the workplace, I think you get emotionally connected to people you work with as well, which clouds your judgment at times. So you do need somebody from outside to say, hey, man, I know you like him and everything, but yeah, he's got to go. And then, like make it happen that way. But so Sparky says, realistically, no one. And I think that's what we're at, right? I mean, I do not think any of those guys would be coming back or would be offered to come back. I'm sure they will love to.
Yeah, we weren't talking about realistically actually bringing anyone back. It was more of a hypothetical. Which one would you, if you could, if you had to?
I would say Bobby personally, just because
Bobby's
he's one of my favorite players all time, and the selflessness. I know Milner is a good shout, but I think the selflessness, and I think we do still need something like that. I almost feel like if Darwin, DC says the same name, but Darwin on the left maybe would be so much better with Bobby in the middle. Because I can't recall seeing those two together a lot.
No, I don't.
Right?
I can't either.
On the pitch. So Sparky says they're like old clean players. Okay. It's going great to end the shit show of today, the regular Monday shit show. But before you go, obviously we'll be back Wednesday for the pre-match and the post-match as well. I'll be back tonight with Gally. for the regular weekly Monday podcast. We don't know if we're going to be able to pry Bickler away from Michigan because this is kind of like a very rare occasion over there. So, but Gally and I will definitely be on air tonight talking about probably Arsenal game and looking ahead to Fulham. But let's get, as always, and with a prediction, get a prediction from you for Wednesday.
4-1.
4-1, really?
Why not?
He's like, why not? I was going to go with the Timuchin special. The Bickler, why not? Why not indeed?
Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button.
Yes, so we'll play that instead of listening to Bickler tonight, which, might be preferred by everyone involved. We'll see. But yes, Michigan. Actually, you know what? Let's do the prediction on that. Michigan or Washington?
I'm going to Washington because I like teams that are not Michigan. I'm Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan, any of these schools that are at the top usually. Fuck them. Let's go Washington.
Yeah, it would be a better story, but I don't know if I could handle a crabby Bickler for like a few months because that will take a long time. So that would be the only reason I would want. For the Bickler's sake, I would probably want Michigan to win. Do you normally have a college team that you support?
Not really. I mean, no. I'm gonna say no. I
dancing around college.
I don't have any loyalties to any school.
Okay.
No. So that's
my
fine.
only loyalty is whoever Notre Dame is playing against. That's my favorite team of the week.
Fair enough. That's absolutely fair. Yeah.
That's how I roll. Ryan is probably a huge Notre Dame fan, I would think, being in that neck of the woods and stuff like that. But yes, Wifey is a huge Notre Dame fan, so it's always a joy. Ryan is.
You were wrong.
But that must be just dirty living in that neighborhoods because they're everywhere over there. But yeah, Wifey is a huge Notre Dame fan, so it's always a good time when I'm rooting for. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be Army. It could be Louisville, which was hilarious. It could be anybody who beats him are good times. But yeah, I would rather go Washington as well. So 4-1 for Wednesday's game. I'm going with the Timuchin Classic for that one, 3-1. It would be nice to put it to bed for the most parts, if possible. The only good thing about that, and that's why I wonder like how much of a rotation we will see from yesterday to Wednesday, is the fact that this one is not a one-game ordeal. So you can make up for it in the second game. So some risks can be
taken. You don't want to play catch-up either. So
that's true. Sparky is going with a 3-0 win. So yeah, I mean, something like that to me is the ideal scenario because nothing is guaranteed, but you can do heavy rotation going into the second game if something like that happens. So, okay, well, let's get this show on the roads.
Let's get it off the road.
Get the show wrapped up. Quiet the shit show over here this week. So thanks again for all those joining and listening. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Tune in tonight, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern for our podcast, and we'll see you guys then. Take care.